All right, so welcome, Crystal. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are doing what I am assuming might be my favorite episode of the season because we are here to talk about the most ridiculous, terrible things you've seen in marketing this year.
Well, thank you for having me. Awesome to catch up with you and do these collaborative projects. I'm pretty excited. No pressure on making this the best episode or anything. But yeah, the crazy shit that you see. And I didn't really prepare for this, but I think I'm going to have plenty to talk about.
I feel like I have a list of things that are like very 2020 specific, like the stupid things that are happening around issues of the year. But then there are things that I'm just pointing out that are just marketing bad practices that happen a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed. Even when you and I first met a handful of years ago, back on a Wednesday in 1972, marketing has changed a lot. And as the world becomes more digital, like the fly-by-night marketers, I mean, you guys just zipped up your pants and decided miraculously you're going to be it feels like that you just, you just got done taking a poop and said, oh, cool, I'm a marketer now. And I'm just going to start this business and start throwing half-cooked spaghetti on a wall. Like it's crazy.
I think it's the purchasing of a MacBook Pro.
Hey,
The
whoa.
MacBook Pro listen, I'm recording on one right now, but I think that in people's mind, like the ability to purchase a MacBook Pro now makes you a marketer.
I would almost, I think the ability to purchase a MacBook Pro and have iMovie makes all of us editors and future movie producers. Thank you very much.
I'm going to leave that one in your capable hands because I am daunted by editing movies. I can sort of edit my podcast if I have to, but video I'm not great at.
I promise you could do it with iMovie. Okay, so maybe you are onto something. The intuitiveness of MacBook Pros it's like buying a nice camera and saying I'm a photographer, right? No, you have a nice camera. You're not a professional photographer because you don't know all about the mechanics of your camera. You don't know about angles and sun and lighting and I mean there's a science to it, right? There's a science to marketing. So just because you zipped up your fly one day and said you're a marketer and you have a Facebook account and you know some shit about the internet doesn't mean you're a marketer.
Right. I think that's absolutely true. And I've been that's been going on for a long time, but I feel like it's ramped up by like, I don't know how many decibels matter but it's ramped up a lot. It's gotten louder here recently.
12 to 12. You guys turned up to 12.
Oh, okay. So I just learned something. What is the significance of 12?
Like 11 is a lot of times the highest that the amplifier goes. So like bands like crank that shit up to 11 and it's too loud. So you people cranked this shit up to a 12.
Okay, fair enough. You know what's funny is what I've seen a lot. I saw this a few years ago when I ran a bigger agency, but a lot this year I've been seeing people that are like, you would think legit companies with like offices in Manhattan and shit doing digital as if they were a 18-year-old in their basement. Like, it seems like it exists at all levels, not just at the local business level, but even up into big agencies, this just misunderstanding of what digital marketing is.
I have a theory for that, and I'm not speaking as the world's best marketer or somebody who thinks I'm above other marketers. That's not true at all. I think, how many guitarists does it take to change a light bulb? Well, one, but all the rest of them to say they could change it better, right? Same with tattoo artists. There's so many industries where people's own ego can kind of get in the way. And I just, for some reason, I see this a lot in marketing is that there's, if marketing were a pie, we could cut it into thousands and thousands of pieces. People don't want to say there's a lot of pieces I can't do or shouldn't do because they're worried that they're leaving money on the table, I think. Or maybe it's pride. Maybe they don't want to say, but there's nothing wrong with sticking to your wheelhouse and having other there's plenty of money to be made and there's plenty of pieces in the pie.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense, but you're talking like, to me it does, because I only do my one little sliver of the pie, and I don't tell people I can do the other stuff because it's always a disaster pants when I do.
That is true. And yeah, for sure. I mean, sometimes you get partners to do the other work and things change there, but that's my assumption on why that happens. But I think a lot of times it's a lack of transparency. It might be stupidity. I've seen some ads for marketing that crack me the hell up. Are you kidding me? Like you're gonna offer these massive search engine optimization plans that guarantee results with custom written blogs for $100 a month, $150 a month. Are what and I say stupid, but that's not polite to say because it's not true. It's unaware. People are unaware of the bullshit they're being fed in this industry.
Yes. So do you think the person that created that ad is unaware or actively a liar? That's always the question for me, is like, are you actively not non-ethical, or are you really unaware?
I hate to say this, but a lot of people in tech are actively unethical. They have to know. Unless they're really not. I mean, it could be that they think that's right because the quality work that they're doing isn't good. They may not realize how poor and unethical and bad content spinning is. They may not know the shit that Google will punish you for. So I never really thought about it. I'm glad you asked that because now my brain is going, well, 50-50. I don't know, but there's one agency that's not terribly far from us that's just constantly spinning this bullshit. That's just bullshit.
Yes.
The people that are buying it don't know any better. I mean, how would you know? I mean, how would you know any better?
Yeah. I feel that. And I always want to give people grace initially until they prove otherwise, but it sometimes gets hard in this space. And I think, like, I know we're not supposed to give the number one first, but I feel like the worst offense of 2020 that I keep seeing is marketers treating this year like it's the same old marketing of last year or the year before that or whatever, like just not putting any awareness into how things have and are shifting.
I haven't seen that that much.
Oh, okay. So remember that I'm spending a lot of time in influencer land these days. So like with social media influencers and stuff where they'll put their Black Lives Matter black box up one day, or they'll put, a praying for everybody with COVID box one day, but otherwise it is entirely business as usual. Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, here's my planned content that we preloaded into our buffer, 6 months ago, and nothing's changed.
I definitely see what you're saying now. I think humanity has always had a problem of people pretending to care or caring just enough to get attention from it. Mm-hmm. Don't just say shit to say shit, right? Actively do something about it. And 2020 it's not just COVID and the economic effect. Where's racial tension? There's an abundance of crime against the queer community and issues for trans people. And there's the political climate is so hard. And I think it's grossly negligent not to acknowledge that there are real issues and that people are suffering, and that it's really important that you verbalize what you stand for. So I see what you're saying. It's tacky, very tacky.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute, because I got into it with someone the other day about this. I've asserted that I think that being vanilla about anything right now is a bad strategy, not just for marketing, but also for just being a human. Have you seen any, let's be positive, what good examples have you seen of how to handle this? Because I know people are afraid of pissing off their customers.
That's a thing too, but I also realized my wife, for example, she's not afraid of upsetting anybody. She doesn't know how to verbalize the way that she feels. She's not a super social person. She's not a big social media user. She struggles to know how to articulate what she feels like I do. She struggles to know how to ask somebody, how can I help you? So I think for a lot of people, they may be vanilla because they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's a crime not to know something. I have an issue with if you see that something's unjust plain as day and you choose to ignore it because it doesn't affect your world, by extension, you're kind of part of the problem.
Okay, I can see you really trying not to piss anybody off with this, so I'll be the one to make this statement.
I'm trying to process because nobody asked me this before, so I'm really trying to think about it. I'm not going to criticize somebody for being vanilla. If you don't know what to say, you don't know what to say. If as a queer person, if you don't come out and say, "Yay, queer people," I'm not going to assume that you don't like me or that it's a problem, right? You don't. If you don't say Black Lives Matter, I'm not going to assume that you're racist. But if I see you participating or supporting people saying things they shouldn't be saying, or you have an opportunity to do or say something about it and you don't repeatedly, we may need to have a conversation because you're letting it happen. So I think there's a difference between being vanilla and a difference between saying, I don't give a shit because it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, so that's a great point, Crystal. And let's break this down a little bit so nobody misunderstands us, because I think there's a difference between, and you tell me what you think. I think there's a difference between being vanilla and choosing not to speak out about a topic that you either don't know enough about or don't have the right words yet for. And if you're holding people in your life accountable and you're making sure that if you're a business owner, that your business is a safe place, that that is fine. You don't have to say Black Lives Matter or I support the LGBTQIA community or whatever on social media. Like, you don't need to, I've been told I'm not supposed to use the phrase I was about to use. So you don't need to like pass the social justice Olympics on social media. And I think that's the mistake I'm seeing a lot of, is people substituting trying to pass that on social media with actually meaningfully doing something in their business.
Gotcha. You and I are on the same page. I think our interpretation of what vanilla meant was different. So yeah, we're definitely on the same page there. Like, cause some people go out and they kind of do the social justice thing where they throw everything out, all the hot topics, but they don't do anything about it. They're just saying shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that it's not good to say something, but I mean, words are just words. If I say I love you, but I treat you like shit, or I don't do anything to make you feel good, then my words have no merit.
Right.
When it comes to social justices or things in the world, right? If you just say, well, Walmart sucks. Well, yeah, they fucking suck. Do you actively stop going there? Do you shop more with your local butcher? So that I think you and I are on the same page. Does it sound like it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think sometimes we don't value the saying nothing at all is a choice. Like, if it's for instance, Monday or Tuesday, if you're listening to this in real time, the announcement came out that Justice Thomas and Justice Alito really threw a giant wrench into whether or not same-sex marriage was going to be safe in the United States. And that day, like, I pulled every other type of content I had going up down, because I was like, this is the only thing that matters right now. This, like, tangentially, there are lots of other things that matter, but like me trying to promote a course or whatever doesn't matter today. This thing needs attention. So it's not that you necessarily have to put out post about that thing if you don't know. I did because I'm a Supreme Court wonk. That's my jam. I know a lot about the Supreme Court. I have been studying it for 25 years. Like, I had something to say about that. But you don't have to put out a post about that. Just maybe don't post your course promotion thing on a day when the whole country is grieving or something like that. Like, just be quiet and listen.
Have some sensitivity to what other people may be feeling, giving the current climate or context,
Right.
is what you're saying, right?
Right. And knowing your community, like my community, that's a thing that most of the people in my community would be really dialed into, versus if you're dealing with retirees in the villages, maybe they have no idea. I don't know.
You out-gayed me, and I'm pretty gay. I'm like grand marshaling a pride parade in the middle of Los Angeles, farting rainbow glitter. I have a wife gay. You out-gayed because I didn't even know that happened Monday.
That was not intentional. I'm a Supreme Court nerd. That's why I know.
I got out-gayed. The gay of the on the podcast got out-gayed. So
oh, I'm never going to live that one down. Now I'm going to be in trouble.
Oh, you're not in trouble. I think it's fantastic. Trouble. I'm so sorry, my queer brethren and sisters. I didn't mean to, but see, I didn't say anything because I'm so over politics. I was happily, grossly unaware. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance, but then now I'm thinking, wow, I wonder if all of my other peers are but that's the thing, is there's always I didn't say shit. I'm so sorry. I didn't even know.
No, this is not a contest. I'm a Supreme Court nerd, so I read all their briefing things when they come out. That's why
But I had to make a joke of it because you gave me the perfect segue, but it really poses what you were just talking about. So I'm kind of glad that you said that. What do you think, or do I think, is the queer community going to look at me different, being somebody who's usually vocal and active and a part of their community that I didn't even know? Probably not, but I think that's the kind of thing you're saying, is at least have some kind of awareness of how it's going to look and how other people are going to feel. Because I didn't know that, and now I know that, and I'm like, wow, can they undo our 5-6 years of marriage? Like, you got to think about that.
Yeah, it's a big question mark right now. That was what my big rant was about, that we need some constitutional amendments, if any of us that aren't.
But that makes your audience, right? A lot of people being in that community, when they find that out, they're going to have the same concerns that are now running through my head. Thanks, Rena.
Shit. Don't give bad news on podcasts, y'all.
I make everything funny because I'm just that kind of asshole. But yeah, like what are these people thinking? Our marketing, right, and sales are very meshed together, and we do things and we buy things when we're influenced. We may not be influenced to buy your $59 course or buy your new book or go try your new steak dinner at the restaurant, because we may be really fixated on a specific cultural issue or social issue. So I see what you're saying is, if it's important to you and you think it's important to your audience, don't be afraid to verbalize it. Even if you don't know what to say and you don't necessarily want to say, oh my God, I support this, just at least acknowledge the people that might be struggling, right? Is that kind of what?
Yeah, completely. So let me ask you, since I feel I like struck out twice.
That joke I made about you outgaying me and how gay I was, that was gold. So that was fantastic. That was the highlight of my day.
All right, awesome. So tell me what you think what's the worst marketing thing that you've seen happening this year?
I mean, outside of just bullshit snake oil campaigns, y'all. I mean, I see it all the time where people it's COVID. I get it. A lot of us had change. We lost money. Things happened. People lost their jobs. you can't just become a marketer overnight. Stop trying to sell bullshit packages and super cheap. Don't pretend to be a master web designer if you just learned how to throw a couple files together for a few $100s and you desperately need money because of COVID. Or at least be honest and transparent about that. Say, hey, I don't have a really high level of skill set. This happened to me. It was really hard. I can do these. That's what I don't see, is the transparency. I'm not going to fault you for not, I mean, I'm not an Albert Einstein, but be honest about what you're offering people. You're not offering them gold. You're not offering somebody a Ferrari for the price of a Pinto. We got to be honest about what, and that's the scariest stuff I've seen, is those super misleading, like you said, I don't know if they're just being unethical, or I don't know if they're just grossly unaware as the provider. That's fucking scary.
Yeah, it is. And it's frustrating for people who are doing like real marketing work, where like for a long time now, it's gotten better for copywriters than it was, but for a long time after Penguin and Panda made $5 articles not a thing anymore, people still expected to pay $5, $10, $25 for a 2,000 word article. And it made it really difficult for agencies doing the right thing, or copywriters doing the right thing, or just trying to eat, to make a real living, because the expectation of what it cost to produce that was so off kilter. And so there are circumstances where your budget is a Pinto, right? Like you're a brand new business or something like that, where you might hire a guy that doesn't have very much experience to set you up something that isn't perfect, but only costs you $150, and it's a Pinto that you can drive around, metaphorically, right?
If everybody's honest and it works for both parties, then I support that fully. I just think it's beyond scary when there's so many lies. And then if you don't even know if those lies are blatant, like, what's worse than somebody being a sneaky liar? They're completely stupid and don't know it.
Right.
And driving that Pinto into a cliff, a fiery burning cliff. That's terrifying. That's terrifying.
And so if you don't have experience in digital marketing and you think you'd like to try it out, just FYI, people, there's a lot of hiring happening in this field right now, because it's exploding. And it is one of the fields that, even with COVID, a lot of the companies in this world have not seen the impact that other industries have. So like, I've hired 6 people this year. Like, you can get a job, an entry-level job in the field, and learn the skills that you need a lot easier than most industries right now, I would say. And most of them are work from home jobs, which I used to think was a good thing, but I'm getting a little cabin fever at this point.
And I'm definitely seeing, especially with young people, that's young people with kids that can't afford, God bless them, or whomever bless them, that can't afford childcare. That's kind of the thing, is work from home. So I'm aware that some of these people and their positionings occurred out of desperation. So yeah. I'm not trying to sit here and say I'm smarter than you, or I'm better than you, or, shame on you, you have weapons of mass destruction. I'm not saying that. I'm just, if it is the need of desperation, I mean, you can always contact somebody who's in marketing and say, look, I want to learn. I could do virtual assistant work while you teach me. We can make it affordable. Like, I'm a huge believer in honesty. Just be transparent and honest about your shit, people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why that's so hard.
Yeah, I agree. I was talking about this today here I go with that, in my Instagram post. I was like, just maybe your pictures, maybe less concerned about your pictures being good and more concerned about them being true would be great.
We just talk about your little like, who are all your little gal pals in that picture that you posted? I'm like, who are all these ladies?
So unlike some people who have lots of token people in their pictures, those are all clients or past clients. So
that's awesome though. the the transparency there. It's real. It's like real life Rena with like, those are real life people. That's not Photoshop. Like, she's
They are real people. Yes.
real people, like in the same picture. We haven't seen that since I'm not actually calling it the COVID virus anymore, just so you're aware. It's the Karen virus, the KRN20. That's what I'm at, because it's brought out the Karens and the Kyles of the world, like, on and off the court, in marketing, side of marketing. That's my.
So, here's something I didn't know until today, Crystal, that you can laugh at. I didn't know Mike Pence's wife's name was Karen. And I read this article about the debate. If you're listening to this in real time, the vice presidential debate was last night. And I read this article about his wife, Karen. And I was like, stop. His wife's name is really Karen.
I feel so bad for so many Karens that are not Karens. And I feel.
Oh, she is.
I'm sure she is. And then I know some Karens and I'm like, holy fucking shit, this bitch is a Karen. Like, because I feel like something about this year has brought out everybody's Karen. Like, it's kind of that's scary too, is the Karens that are in business right now that, how do you feel? Because you're a very vocal person about what you believe in, right? Everybody that knows Rena knows what Rena's feeling and knows what and who Rena stands behind. So like, you're a very vocal person and you are a supporter of people wearing masks and having courtesy and like keeping their distance and stuff. How do you handle it in public when somebody's just being an asswipe and won't wear a mask and gets up in people's space? Do you let it go?
I do. So I do not. Now, I should disclaimer, my mother and stepfather are both nurses. My stepfather works in an ICU that has lost like quadruple the number of patients they normally do on a weekly basis over the last 8 weeks. So I am not here to play. Like, it's people very close. I have the experience of people very close to me that I love are at real risk every day for people's stupidity. So it's not just existential for me. So I am pretty willing to be like, well, for example, I went to a meeting at a client's office on Tuesday. I walked in with a mask. No one else was wearing one. And I very politely said, I'm not comfortable being here if y'all don't put your masks on. So they all put them on. They were grumpy about it. And they may have thought less of me for it, but I'm willing to take that risk.
Yeah, and it's your right. We both of her mother is extremely immune suppressed. My mom's still recovering from the brain tumor and has kidney issues and stuff. So that's what we're concerned about. But I asked you that because you're always passionate about what you believe in. You're a great example of what somebody should look up to if they're trying to understand, how do I do that better? What frustrates me about the Karens of the world is they're so emboldened about a lot of things that aren't that important. And they won't show that same passion to the things that matters. They won't show that same passion within their business, right? They'll overlook, how sensitive things are right now with minorities, right? With Black people, with trans people, but they'll have a fit if you ask them to think of other people in a fucking Walmart.
I feel you on that. So I want to say first that I have a tremendous amount of privilege to be able to not take anybody's bullshit. In that, like 10 years ago when I was, or even 7 years ago when I was not particularly financially stable, the stand that I take about certain things may not have been, because I was a mother of young children, I may not have taken such a hard stand. And in fact, there are a couple instances where I did take a hard stand where I paid a really heavy economic cost. And I'm not recommending that people who are in that danger zone do that necessarily. Because it's one thing for me as a white, heterosexual, gender conforming female who owns her own company to say, I do these things. It's another if you don't have all those privileges. So I don't want to make anybody feel pressured. Um, and I would not have realized that years ago. But the other thing is we were talking about tattoos before we started recording. And the reason I want the bullets dripping from the quill is because there's this quote about saving your bullets in your gun for the things that matter the most that I really love. And I think of it as like, I have a handful of issues that are so core to what I believe is human. It's just being a good human, that those things I will not compromise on. Even if that means we can't do business together or we can't be friends, or for me, it has even been, I can't see you as my family member. I'm going to have to love you from afar. But there are a handful of those. It's not everything. And you will never see me like fight with a waiter about the way my food came out. That is not going to happen.
Yeah. No, we're the same too. I don't think I articulated that well what I was saying. We've all seen those viral Karen videos.
Mm-hmm.
You're willing to lose your job and look like a complete jackass over stupid racial quotes, or your food in a restaurant, or a mask in a gas station, or something completely dumb. You're willing to have all this negative impact over that versus something that changes lives and really matters, is kind of the point that I was making. I would never encourage anybody to do anything that would affect their ability to support their family, but the battles that some people choose to fight are so, like, that's really what
I have to figure they're emotionally stunted. Like, that's the thing that I always think of, is like, I'm able to be the way I am because I've done a lot of personal work. And this is on my good days when I'm being compassionate, recognizing that when someone behaves that way, it's because they're in a lot of pain and they don't know how else to process it.
It's also scary because really, when people get really passionate, they do a lot of things on impulse. I mean, a lot of marketing is kind of impulse decision making, right? We have people impulse shooting people and impulse calling people awful things that you can't take back, that will be on the internet forever. And we have people doing impulse things. I mean, that's terrifying too. I know that that's not a scary marketing thing, but it's a very scary 2020 thing. And we somehow kind of got segued onto that.
I think it all kind of goes together though, because the people who are doing those kind of things are also doing their work out in the world, as you know, in their businesses, in their jobs. Some of the worst behavior that I've seen in that arena come from, now for me, I'm on a kick right now about white dudes in marketing. I've labeled it bro marketing in my head. Bro marketing. Yeah. Because my kids watch, I think the guy's name is PewDiePie, that has like the bro.
He's not a good gamer, kids. All he plays is for children. Now I'm sad.
You need to teach my children because I can't, even with the gaming YouTube, I don't get it. So I can't teach them about it.
It's not even, I'm sorry, Fortnite lovers. It's not a good game. Okay, but go ahead and
they're not even allowed to play it. Like, it's blocked. They're not allowed to play it because it's so damn addictive that
it's all addictive. Stimulus is addictive. Social media is addictive. But okay, I'm over choice in gaming streamers, and I apologize we can continue.
Okay, so but anyway, he has like, it's like the Bro Collective or something like that, and I feel like they represent the worst bullshit on the internet, including, by the way, the New Zealand shooter actually named him in his manifesto, like he was one of the people who influenced him.
You do know that the gaming community, right, because I'm huge in the gaming community, is extremely divided, because there are gamers, people like me and like you, if you were a gamer, who say we like gaming, and if you like gaming, we like you, and you can game what you like to game. And then there are people who are disgustingly toxic. They're swatting people Do you know what swatting is? They are swatting people, lying to law enforcement, having SWAT teams show up thinking that there are weapons and narcotics in a house and people are getting killed. They are bullying people to kill themselves. Like there are some
Holy shit.
awful, horrible, toxic people. There are particular people who got kicked off YouTube for attacking. They said, find every woman gamer, find all the things that are ugly with her, call her name, like don't give it. It's so disgusting. Everybody who's listening who's a gamer is totally going to understand like this bro thing that you're talking about. And if you're not, it's a very real thing. There's something that's really toxic. I don't understand what it is if they forget that it's not reality. And like when you turn the Call of Duty off, you're not like, we're not in that world anymore. You know, we don't call people those names online.
Are these all the guys that are in the, what's that group that like thinks that women owe them sex? I feel like it sounds.
I don't remember the name of it, but there's a lot of that kind of mentality. It's some gamers just, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, but they've got, it's almost like a cult, right? You've got these clans, if you will, these professional gamers that are so influential. And I'm kind of convinced that drama sells and that being asshole makes you more money and gets you more following, and they just sell out. And it gets, I'm not surprised to hear what you said about the shooter. I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
So that's interesting. So I want to draw a distinction here then about my bro marketers. Bro marketers are not violent, at least in general that I've ever seen. What they are more along the veins of is like, everybody look at my yacht and my Ferrari, and you too can make $1 million a day if you pay me $19.95.
My God, I was going to bring that up later too, that another scary thing I see is all these, you've all seen them, folks. It's a little paid ad and you click on see more and it opens up to like 59,000 words that you have to refresh YouTube or you have to refresh Facebook for like 90 minutes to read it all. What I'm talking about. And
Yes.
It's formula to success, which is just 5,940 million words that just spell bullshit. And then it's this low cost thing and it's going to, yes, it's a mentality. Those people are everywhere. That crazy, you've got the crazy people that say, I can sell somebody snake oil and make a lot of money. And then you have the crazy consumers that go, oh my God, Tony Robbins is going to fix my whole life for $29.90.
You want to talk about the most manipulative fucking marketing in the entire world? Have you ever been to a Tony Robbins event?
But I had it in a networking group that I ran. I had somebody contact me and said, we want to come in and do this motivational speak. I didn't know what it was going to be like. They were part of the Tony Robbins team. I thought it was going to be like, there's some, I have a leadership.
There's some legitimately great stuff. Yeah.
Who, when I first joined BNI, you were a mentor to me and there was legitimate teaching, learning, coaching things happening. This guy came in and it was like, okay, there's bits and pieces of neatness, but this is like writing a horoscope. You're going to have a good day today. You're going to have a bad day today. Today is going to end with Y. It's like, fuck, are you serious? This is copy pasted bullshit.
Okay, it gets worse, Crystal. So I went to Unleash the Power Within in 2017, maybe. Somebody gave me a ticket. I was super excited because Tony Robbins is legitimately one of the top 3 best speakers in the world. I have a huge goal to want to be a great speaker. All I gave a shit about was seeing him speak, okay? And that part was amazing. But they turned the room down so cold that like people are wearing like parkas to manipulate your nervous system. Keep the music up really loud to manipulate your nervous system. Do this for 3 days. And then on the 4th day, try to pitch you a $20,000 program. And oh, if you say you can't afford it, they provide you with their own financing right there at 30% interest.
Las Vegas learned how to manipulate before we had social media. Let's be honest. Part of marketing is a form of manipulation, but the word manipulate doesn't always mean a negative or a bad thing. It means I want to attract you, right? I want to engage you. I want to hold your attention. I want to make you feel something, right? You would agree that that's a thing that you and I are skilled at doing. Long before we had these things in your face and it made it easier, the genius people at Disney World, Tom Canella, met him, awesome guy, and whatever the hell genius at Vegas, dude, they mastered the art. There is nobody better at influencing and control than those people. Vegas,
Have you been to Harry Potter at Universal?
I've been to Universal. I haven't been on the ride, no.
You've been in Diagon Alley?
No, I don't know anything about Harry. I never read them. I never saw I don't know anything about them.
Okay. I'm going to be on the wrong side of the whole internet and admitting that despite J.K. Rowling being wildly problematic, I love the Harry Potter books, okay? I grew up with those books. But the point here is Diagon Alley is the most immersive marketing experience I have ever been in. Like, it is nothing but them trying to sell you expensive garbage the entire time, and you buy it all because it's so freaking cool.
Then we need to go and about it is what I'm hearing. But that's marketing, right? That's influence. That's social media. That's politics. That's business. That's what we do. I mean, it's.
So what do you think of this distinction, Crystal? Because I'm playing with this. If you buy a thing and a marketing person has influenced you to buy a thing, however way, with a video, with an ad, with copy, whatever the thing is, right? With a wand selecting show, but you feel good about the purchase, not just in the moment, but over the long term. Like, I spent several $100s when I went to Universal. I don't have any regrets about that. It's one of the highlights of I might have been over 30. I wanted to say young life, but I wasn't really that young. So, like, I recognize that I was being manipulated. I don't really care. It was awesome.
Several hundred. I could go into the damn Star Wars store. Is it Disney Springs? Is that the?
Yes. Yeah.
Go into the Star Wars store, several hundred. Honey, I could spend, if I didn't have a wife that kept being a 13-year-old boy 24/7, I would have $20,000 of Star Wars Lego sets glued together and hanging from every room in the house, okay? I would have 50 billion Funko Pops, okay, of all, and I would have zero fucks to give about spending the money on it. Because if you're into it, let yourself be manipulated if you like it and it brings you happiness. The manipulation I have a hard time with in the marketing industry is when it's not transparent, when it's conniving, when you're lying, when you're selling some bullshit that somebody's not going to get.
Or you're manipulating people's pain.
Yes. Don't cause people more pain. Don't prey on people that don't have a lot of money and are desperate to make big life changes, which I see that a lot in these gigantic Facebook ads and these Tony Robbins kind of. That to me is, I would never take a project like that, because I think that to me it matters. I'm not saying that you're bad if you do that, but I think it's who you're manipulating and how they feel about it. That.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to say this. If someone is offering to make you a millionaire for $20, there's something wrong. Like, if someone really can make you a millionaire, it's going to cost more than that. Like, as someone who is
millionaire. I mean, they just suckered you. They didn't get it. They sold you a fucking dream and a book. I'm sorry. I would rather have my Harry Potter wand and my Star Destroyer Lego set. I mean, wouldn't you? That's, yeah, I totally feel you there. I don't agree. It's scary when you take advantage of people wanting more and you sell them this idea that's totally fake.
Yeah, and that said, I've seen that on every end of the spectrum. So on the same token, there's a lot of people in the online marketing space out there selling 15, 20, 50,000. I even saw $100,000 masterminds to people who can't necessarily afford it, telling them they're going to teach them how to do whatever thing it is. And I also feel like that is wrong, that there needs to be some processing of whether or not the person has the capacity to spend that money and reality about what it's going to take to get there. Like, I know one person who really wanted to get into the marketing world that paid $15,000 for this program.
It's a
That
lot.
essentially, it basically, like, this has been a few years ago, but it basically told them, like, go to a UPS store and get Google My Business, get like boxes that look like real addresses, and then buy up domains like Spring Hill Tree Service or Hudson Tree Service and point them to those addresses, and then go back to other companies and try to sell them back the leads.
Yep.
That's not ethical. Like, and this person was not trying to be unethical. This person legitimately thought this was the way that it worked. And it just made me like, because they could not on any level afford that amount of money for that thing, and also ended up doing something wildly unethical. Like,
You popped. I mean, you get popped for black hat SEO. If you think good marketing is expensive, you can't afford what happens if somebody fucks it up. Honestly, I found a guy, this gal that I know, we're in the same industry, but we're in different spaces. We do different things. Mm-hmm. So we keep in touch very regularly. We're friends. We work together sometimes. She was very upset and contacted me because there was somebody claiming a bunch of her clients and her project and her work, trying to take credit for it so they could charge top dollar to do work. Shit like that that's scary, right? The fact that for a marketer, people could copy paste the words we use, right? You and I both love to write. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. It probably has happened where somebody's like, Broop, now it's not Rena's, it's theirs. Or they'll rip it exists in all spaces, but that's scary. That's a scary thing that happens in marketing.
Yeah, there is some content that I wrote 10 years ago that I happen to know has made hundreds of thousands of dollars for two not to be named people, because we wrote it as a group, even though I wrote it, and then they conveniently took my name off it.
I mean, when it comes to power and money, I was just thinking about that today. If you find loyalty, hold on to it and reward it, because I don't care if you have Jeff Bezos. Fuck that guy, by the way. I don't care if you have Jeff Bezos money. You cannot buy loyalty. You cannot buy ethics.
Yep.
Find those people that are in your tribe that have the ethics and have the loyalty that you're looking for. Hold on tight to that shit. And if you offend them a little bit, look, people are going to love, people that love you. It's okay. You got to be yourself. And if you feel the need to stand on a soapbox, that's okay. Unless you're wishing me harm or you're trying to hurt me, I'm going to love you. Yes. I mean, unless you're a shitty shit and you try to hurt somebody else, and then I might shank you. But
okay. So I do want to give people a cheat code. Like, if you're new and you're listening to this and you're thinking, and I don't know where people are when they're listening to this, but if you're newer at things and you're listening to this and you're thinking, I want to be honest, but if I'm completely honest that I'm brand new, people are not going to hire me. Here's the cheat code, and you tell me what you think. This is the cheat code I always use. I call it an alpha offer or an alpha program. And so it's not like I'm brand new at this and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, this is the first round. Y'all can get in at the ground floor in my alpha offer. It may be a little messy. I always put that disclaimer in there. Like, we're learning this. It may be a little messy, but instead of saying I'm a beginner, say it's your alpha offer.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of words that mean the same thing. It's just worded differently. I don't like to use the word cheap, but if you use the word inexpensive, it still means it's cheap. It doesn't cost a lot, but it doesn't quite have the negative connotations that someone may assume. So I absolutely love that idea. Don't go saying, I've never really done this before and it might be shitty, so I'm going to give you a good deal. Say, I love the term alpha, by the way. Absolutely love that. Right? It's just to go in and be honest and say, look, I'm building up my portfolio. I'd like to make a few offers out there that are exclusive. I can only take so many at this time, and I'd like to give you a really good deal. I also love the idea of you saying it might get a little messy. If you're willing to be a little patient with me and to let me grow in working with you, I will give you a really good deal. I think that's fantastic. We should be doing that more. We should have more transparency in these things.
Yes.
If I work with somebody and teach them how to use Yoast, I'm just teaching you how to use Yoast. This does not guarantee that you're going to be good at SEO or even be good at writing content. Okay. Let's be honest.
Right.
I mean, you're super good at that. You never mislead people and you're doing just fine.
I will say I learned that because I think in my early days, I thought I could do anything. I did have to, I say sometimes I'm a recovering know-it-all. I did have to humble myself a little bit.
I've been there. I think anybody that's listening to this that has a certain level of intelligence, which I mean, a lot of freelancers and a lot of entrepreneurs have, we also are a little bit crazy to go and hang our own shingles. But when you're intelligent, you're used to knowing information. So sometimes you get used. I don't think it's a bad thing if you're used to knowing a lot of things. Some people are right pretty frequently. It's not a bad thing to be somebody who's right frequently. I just think sometimes we get a little big for our britches and then we stop learning.
Yeah.
We don't realize that we still need to learn. We always need to learn.
That's actually, I think, the biggest error that I see in this industry above all is people learn some stuff in like 2012 and then they quit.
They quit learning.
Yeah.
That, to me, in my mind, when you're saying like that bro thing, that's where my mind keeps going, is like, that's kind of like where my old white straight dude thing is in my brain. Is they know everything and you can't get them out of this loop of it's. I think being confident is phenomenal, especially if you're a woman. You should absolutely be confident and just tell every guy where they can put it if they don't believe in you. But I think arrogance and cockiness is gross because it implies to me that you're not willing to learn anything. Whereas if I'm confident because I know what I know, but I also know I have the capacity to learn and know more. And if your arrogant assumption is that I can't teach you anything and you're not listening to me to help, you're listening to me to respond.
Part of the confidence though, right? And Crystal, like the way I think the reason I can be confident about things, at least personally, is that if I don't know something, I'll say one of two things. I'll say, I don't know, like find somebody else who does. Or if it's something I want to learn about, I will often say, I don't know, but I'll go figure it out and come back to you. Like the conversations I've been having about what to do for people who are hearing impaired online. That came from a conversation with a client that was like, I want to do these things. Which one is the right one? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll go figure it out and report back to you. That's like, I think true confidence is being able to admit when you don't know the answer.
Yeah. I feel like everything is so, but stop me because I love psychology and I really don't want to take this down a 40-hour rabbit hole. But I think interactions with humans, there's all kinds of stupid human tricks is what I like to call it. We think we need to know, especially if we're a business owner and we're in a position where somebody else is offering to pay us for something. Maybe we feel like we need to know more because we're women in tech industries. But I think the natural response for a lot of people is, I have to know it or I can't possibly be wrong. But I think if you get through because I used to be the same way too, where I was like, no, 2 + 2 is 5. No, I know it's 5. I know it's 5. No. Now having gone through that growth process and getting the self-awareness, I go, oh, you know what? I think you are right. 2 + 2 is 4. And there's a mistake in something that I did. Let's work that out. So I assume it's a mental thing where we think we need to know. I watched this, I don't remember what it was, but I was fascinated by it. And they stopped random people in the street and asked them the most absurd questions. Nobody's going to know the answer to this ridiculous shit. Like how many, hey, do you know how many Tic Tacs are in a Tic Tac jar? And people are like, oh yeah, fit. So many people pulled information out of their ass because they didn't want to be caught with a stranger on a TV show not knowing the answer. That's powerful, but that's kind of scary if you think about it, because we talk to all these providers. How do you know they're not just pulling answers out of their ass? That's scary.
I totally get that. And I would love to see that and for me, I ended up figuring this out because for whatever reason, and I really don't know why, people tend to do what I say. So if I tell people to do something, I really don't. Like, why are y'all listening to me? But if I tell somebody to do something that I don't absolutely know is going to be the right thing, it's my fault if it goes wrong. So that's one of those, with great power comes great responsibility. People are going to do what I say, so I better not lead them down the wrong path.
Intentionally. Sometimes.
Yes.
Don't intentionally lead someone down the wrong. Sometimes you have the best of intentions, and sometimes the other person doesn't put the work in or do the rest of the research.
Right.
Tony, there's going to be that one guy out there that Tony Robbins works for because he busts his ass every day.
Thank you so much for being with us. And we will link to your show in the show notes. So if you all want to learn some more from Crystal, she has some great episodes on her YouTube show that you can go over and watch.
Thanks so much for having me. Let's do this again, and you come on my show again. It's always fun.
This is always fun. Yes.